Hey, Egg Teacher Thoughts here, coming at you with another video. We're going to do a little plant surgery today because we got twins and we need to solve a problem. Let me bring you on in close. We'll take a look at what's going on and see if we can solve that because we got something interesting going on. All right, so this is one of my stock plants of my Firefly Petunia. And other than the little, bitten parts of where we had our budworm out of control, I want you to notice the size of the leaves here. They are fairly small, right? So these leaves are fairly small, like that, okay? They are itty bitty. This is a small, petite, flowered petunia. And, small leaves, small petunia. However, we have something interesting going on. We have it's not a weed, it's actually another petunia. And this one has gigantic leaves. Look at that. Those are like 3 inches long or more. Those are huge leaves. And looking from the growth structure of how this plant is growing, and going back to my experience, this tells me this is a trailing petunia. I know this is a trailing petunia. With this, I did check it when it was much younger and it was glowing. I just didn't want to disturb the roots of this plant before I did it. But now, with the speed that it's growing and the fact that it's already in one of my stock plants, I'm going to try to remove this and put it in a container of its own so we can grow it up as its own plant. Now, since it glows, we know it's a hybrid, and I'll try to take some photos of this later tonight and see if I can incorporate them in the video. But this is a glowing petunia. It's a trailer. This is something that we need to save and then incorporate into our breeding program. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a transplant, and I'm going to do this the best I can to make sure I don't damage anything, because I do have seed on this stock plant, but I also want to keep this plant, but I don't want to kill this plant. So this is kind of where we're in a quandary here, and I can't let this keep growing, because if I do, it's going to take over the whole pot, and I don't want that to happen. I want it to be on its own. So we're going to go ahead and work on transplanting this plant. Okay, so we've separated out the root ball. I can kind of see some good root growth over here, and I'm going to just take a large section of my other petunia's soil. So there we go. I got him. I'm going to move him off to the side. I'm going to move this guy in, to his own container and try to do this as carefully as I can. All right, trying not to disturb things. Got some damp potting soil here to kind of pack in, and we're gonna treat this one like we've given it emergency surgery, which we have. So we're going to just let him be in the corner of that pot. We can correct anything else later. We just want to make sure that this plant is not damaged and it has the best chance it can to survive on its own. This is the first one that I've had that has this large of leaves on it. So definitely something we want to keep and work on. There we go. Okay, so since we've monkeyed around with all the leaves and the roots, we're going to actually put it in a container of water, and we're going to let it soak up as much moisture as it wants in that container. Okay, so I'm going to leave it in there. I'm going to let it do its thing. Move that one off to the side. And now that we've gone in to our Firefly, we've taken some of its roots out, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to return it back to its container. And then we're going to add potting media back in. We've got our dampened potting media. And it's like nothing ever really happened. All right. So there is our stock plant. Okay, so now we have 2 plants. We've got this one that is really wanting to take off and grow. So we've got him saved. We saved a big enough root ball. It should be okay. But we're going to make sure that this stays in damp potting media until it gets a chance to recover. And I'm also going to go put it back in the greenhouse where the humidity is right, so that the stoma, which are open right now, those are the little guard cells on the plant that open and close and allow air to travel in and out, your gases to go in and out, but also moisture to leave, which is what allows the plant to draw moisture up in the roots. So let's go put this one back in the greenhouse, and then we'll do a little bit of a chat about the state of the channel. All right, welcome back to the lab. So we've got our plant down in a recovery location where it's in the shade. It's in a little bit cooler temperature of the greenhouse. And I'm kind of excited to see what happens with that one and how it turns out. We do have a couple other interesting things going on in the greenhouse. One is I'm having some budworm that has survived the bacteria that's supposed to kill them. And I found them on a couple of plants, and I'm going to be on budworm control. So I don't know that that's going to be as an effective method of control of budworm as it has been in the past for me. It only makes sense that through natural selection, if we use one particular type of biological control, that eventually there's going to be some pushback from the target species, and that seems to be what's going on. I've not seen this. I've not seen this documented anywhere else, so we're gonna keep watching. But yeah, I need to kind of figure out what's going on there and why. So this weekend we're going to go in and we're going to thin out some of our stock plants. We're going to make sure we harvest any seed pods that are ripe. And we're going to do some more general maintenance to the greenhouse to make sure that we get the plastic inflated and we get all of the air gaps sealed up, because we are quickly heading into fall. Nighttime temperatures here are getting down to 50. So if it gets below 56, our plants in here stop growing for that period of time, and we want them to actually continue. So I'm going to keep working on that part of the greenhouse. But the other thing is, and I'm disappointed I didn't take a photo of it last night. You can only kind of see it here because this flower did die. But this is my Glamoflage grape, and that is like a lavender color, but it's supposed to be a purple. And this was a full open flower last night. I really should have taken a photo of it, but I didn't at the time. But I think I've got a sport in my Glamoflage grape, so there is a color change here. I don't know if that's because of the... I don't know if that's just because of the age of the blossom or not, but I'm going to keep tracking that and see if another blossom opens up. If it is indeed a different color, we're going to take a cutting of that and we're going to propagate that as its own color. Those of you that were asking about the Glamoflage grape seeds that we planted, they have not germinated yet. And yes, once they come up, if we find they're glowing, we're going to transfer it back and forth a couple of times. We're going to do a lot of work on that to try to develop a... Would you call it a naturally bred plant if we're using genetic engineered hybrids? I don't know, but we'll cross it back and forth to the mother plant and back to Firefly and back to the mother plant, back to Firefly. And we're going to try to maintain that genetic stream where we still get the glow, but we get the variegation and the color. It's going to be a lot of work, but we've got lots of time. The other thing I've noticed is just about every pot and container that I have here has seed that has come off of the mother plant in the pot and germinated. So these things are spreading seeds everywhere. So to keep track of those has been kind of a little bit of a trick. But, you know, we'll keep at it. So what else is new in the channel? I said I was going to do a channel update. Those of you that have followed my channel since we began, and I think I posted my first video, first uploaded January 23rd, 2023. So not quite 3 years ago was our first video. Hasn't got a whole lot of views. I think it's pinching in conversation with verbena. So that's a garden plant. So I did some work there. With that one, you know, that's the first video that launched this channel. And since then, we've had 570 videos, if I count even the shorts that I threw in there. 570 videos. This week, we just crossed 250,000 views. And either tonight or tomorrow night, we will finally cross the threshold that allows me to have memberships for the page. So that means I'm going to start doing some lives. Those will happen probably in the mornings. I'll probably be doing some lives, and some will be to the general populace. Some will just be to the membership page. Don't have a cost yet on membership. I'm going to try to keep that fairly low, and we'll use whatever funding is generated there to support the channel and continue to build out this structure and our breeding program. And it's going to be different content. It's going to be not as much. I mean, some of it's going to be more technical, but some of it might be experiments that you only see little glimpses of in other videos, and you get to see the full video of the experiment with the membership page. But, you know, it's also going to be videos that are more kind of get to know you, to find out kind of the history of my nursery experience and where I came from. But I'm pretty doggone excited to cross that membership barrier of the 3,000 rolling watch hours, and that's going to happen in the next 2 days. I've worked really hard at growing this channel and making sure I'm consistently uploading. And, you know, if you've heard from many YouTubers, it's a lot of work, you know, to make sure that I allot a couple hours a day to shoot a video, edit it, and then upload it, and everything that goes with that. So yeah, it's not easy. It's even more difficult to take if you're not getting something back on it. So yeah, this has been more of a work of passion than it has been of a financial. It hasn't been a financial benefit. It's been a detriment. This $200 greenhouse cost a lot more than $200 when it all was said and done. But anyway, hey, it's because you all have come in and watched me that I've been able to grow this channel and carry out the experiments that I'm really interested in and follow passions that I've developed. So I thank you very much for that. If you are a viewer of mine and you've been hanging out in the fringe and you've just been watching but haven't subscribed, please do. We need more subscribers. You know, the more we can get, the better. And then that way you don't miss out on anything that I film. That YouTube's changed, and it's hard to make sure that you get to see those videos right after they're uploaded if you're not subscribed. But yeah, make sure that you do that, because my petunia friends and I, we need your help. And we're going to do more than just petunias. You know, I posted the video about the sweet potato vine. If you haven't seen that, that's a video about cuttings that you need to take right now. You know, my sweet potatoes, they're down here. They're down here. They're in their recovery container, high humidity, in the shade, allowing them to start developing those root structures without the plant wilting. And we need to get a few more cuttings done, because we're on our own to build baskets this year. We don't have a school greenhouse to rely on, so any of the plant material we're going to put in next year's baskets, we need to do this year. So yeah, we're going to keep working on that. But anyway, as always, I thank you very much for your subscription. I thank you for your support over the last almost 3 years that we've been doing these videos. And as always, I hope you're learning something. I hope you enjoyed. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.